Hi, and welcome to Dare to Outdo Yourself. I am your host, Rhonda Phillips, and as always, I am here to help challenge and empower you to take charge of your life through preparation, performance, and persistence. Now, I trust that you are in for a very informative program on today, and so wherever you are, just regroup and let's get ready to hear all that awaits you on today. Now, I have a very special guest with me, and many of you may recognize this gentleman. He is actually a host of the Paul Brown Show, and so it's good to have you with us on today, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, ma'am, for inviting me on your show.
You're
Really
welcome.
appreciate that.
You're welcome. Now, before we actually get started with our empowerment challenge, I want to just take a moment to have you just share with the viewers a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from. Okay.
Okay, my name is Paul Brown. I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina. I arrived in Charlotte in 1998, single parent. I raised two boys. Now they are 23 and 27. They came at 3 and 7.
Okay.
I also have three daughters.
Oh.
They're grown up as well. I work at a chemical plant. I have a TV show called The Paul Brown Show. I've been on for 10 years. I also have a radio show called Paul Brown Show, and it's on WDRB Media on Thursdays at 3:30.
Awesome.
And I just love shows and just like interviewing and educating and informing the community of services that people provide.
Great. Well, and of course, for you viewers, if you haven't already seen Paul Brown, the Paul Brown Show, you can catch Paul Brown Show right here on Access 21. So I want you all to get ready for our empowerment challenge. And so you need to write it down, that's fine. However, Mr. Brown is going to share some very enlightening, informative information concerning his own life as it pertains to this challenge. And so your empowerment challenge for today is have victory over addiction. That's right, have victory over addiction. So, Mr. Brown, if you could just share with us, in your own words, what is your own definition of addiction?
Addiction is when you taking some type of substance that kind of takes over your mental, your way of thinking, your actions, and you allow it to take over your life. It becomes your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you love over your family, your friends. You would rather take that drug or substance over going to work or anything. That's your main focus, is just to have that whatever your drug of choice.
Okay. Now, I know that when we think about addiction, oftentimes many people think about addiction to drugs and addiction to alcohol. However, there are other forms of addiction that many people may not be aware of or may be in denial of as it pertains to addiction. And I think of addiction to food as an example.
Correct.
Addiction to shopping, addiction to sex, addiction to being in control of other people's lives, addiction to gossip. Those are all various forms of addiction. And so for anyone who's watching on today, Mr. Brown is sharing his testimony concerning his addiction, and we're going to talk in depth about that. However, as he's sharing that, you may not have an addiction to the same type of addiction that he had. However, if you have something, as Mr. Brown shared, that takes over your life, pretty much is controlling you, and you're not in control of it, to the point where you would rather have it or entertain that more than anything else that should be priority over your life, then that would be considered an addiction. So, Mr. Brown, with that being said, if you could just share with us what type of addiction did you have, and how did you actually get to the place of realizing that you had an addiction?
My drug of choice was crack cocaine. I didn't hear too much about crack during that time frame. I started like 1992, 91, 92. I wasn't too familiar with crack cocaine because I was working for the Department of Correction in South Carolina. So I really just worked and I didn't know anything about it. I met this young lady. She you know, I started talking to her, you know, and I got with her and I met her at a club, and next thing you know, she kind of like introduced me to it. I didn't know what it was. She said, just try it. When I was in college, you know, I had reefer, marijuana, alcohol, so I figured, you know, this is not nothing, you know, this it's not gonna kill me, so let me try it. So she said, it's not gonna hurt you, so I tried it, and it didn't bother me the first time.
Okay.
But I guess the next day I met her and we tried it again, and for some reason I started getting it took something in my brain that kind of like made me want, you kind of like you want it, you got to have it. There's something in that brain that it affects that makes you get attached to it. You just got to have it.
Okay, so, you know, with you trying it, and of course it not affecting you the first time, however, after you tried it again, you realized it had some kind of effect over you.
Correct.
How often did you find yourself having a desire for crack cocaine?
Well, it gradually grew to having it every day. You know, it was something that I tried to avoid because, like I said, I was working for the Department of Correction. It was like, I didn't want to do it, but then again, it was something of that drug that it affects something in your brain, whereas you crave it. You got to have it, and it's like, you may not want it when you don't have any money, but as soon as you have some money, it's like, just try it one. It's not going to bother you. You know, let's get a 20. You know, then that 20 turns into 40, the 40 turns into, and it keeps on building up until you spent all your money. Now you just got paid, and it's like you're broken in that one night, and now you got to figure out how you're going to make it to the next payday and how you're going to survive. But now it goes to the point where all you want to do is get high.
So let me ask you, with regard to you having a job,
Yes, ma'am.
and it being with the Department of Corrections, you would have, for yourself, did you have the impression that no one knew that you had any type of a drug addiction, or did you have any type of, I would say, in terms of the changes as a result of taking the crack cocaine, did it reflect in terms of how people saw you differently, or could you see the changes in yourself over a course of time, or, you know, did you hide it, or, you know, how did it come across in terms of taking the drug, and of course working a job where people are interacting with you on a day-to-day basis, and how you related to them?
Well, when you are in use, you really don't think that people notice the changes, but as people see you, they can see the changes. They can see the way you dress differently, you know, the way your whole demeanor, it changes because of the fact that now you're thinking only about trying to get high. Even though you're working, you're like, I'm trying to get off so I can go and get high some more. And you know, people start noticing that, and it's like your appearance start declining, and people that are in addiction, they think that nobody can see it, but you people can see it. They know there's something wrong with you, but you trying to convince yourself you're not. You're okay, you're the same person, there's nothing wrong with you, but people know that you're changing.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, I know that you mentioned how you were basically looking forward to just getting high, come every paycheck, because before you realized you were spending, a certain amount of money, and of course it began to increase over a course of time. At what point did you find that you were having a difficult time budgeting or managing your routine expenses, whether it be week to week, month to month, in terms of your responsibilities, managing your money? At what point did you begin to realize that you're basically getting to a point where I'm sinking, and I can't find my way out of this?
Well, I was basically, I noticed the fact that I couldn't pay my bills. I was always borrowing. I was selling my stuff in order to pay my bills and stuff like that. And it became kind of like a normal thing. I would borrow from my family and friends, tell them, you know, I'm short of money or I didn't get paid and I need some money until the next payday, and people would give me the money and I would rely on that as a means of getting from check to check. But eventually it got to the point where I couldn't do it. I couldn't work, I couldn't keep up with the everyday lifestyle of living, the paying the bills. You know, you get behind. What do? You start now, but you're not even thinking about the bills. All you're thinking about is getting high. That was the main objective in life, just getting high. You know, it's a total difference between in today's society where you're thinking about, you know, I got my bills, whether the lights are going to be. You don't worry about that. All you're worrying about is getting high. You can get high in the dark. You know, and it came to that point where it was plenty of days I was in the dark. And eventually I lost my place, you know, I can't keep up with it.
Now, were you still working at that point, or had you stopped working as a result of not being coherent enough to work because of the drugs, or, you know, how did it affect your job at that time?
Okay, well, my supervisor, they noticed the changes at me, and my captain, he came up to me and he said, I know something, you're doing something, and he said, I'm gonna give you two options. Either I'm gonna send you to treatment, or you can resign. If you resign and get help, then you can come back later on to the Department of Correction, or I can fire you. So I went to treatment for a little while, but I didn't really want to go because I didn't believe I had a problem. So I went to treatment for like a couple of days, weeks, you know, and therapy, and then I came back to work and I thought it was normal, and then I started doing it again, and then it was like a revolving thing, and then eventually I got to the point where he told me again, he said, okay, now I'm gonna give you two choices. Either you resign or I'm gonna fire you. And I resigned. And that was a big decision that I made, and what I did is after I resigned, when I got hired. Because that's really what I wanted to do. That would solve all the problems that I had, but it was only making the problem worse, because everything that I had, I was losing everything, even my family, because they can tell the difference in me.
I was going to ask you, as far as your family is concerned, I know that you said that you would, you know, go to them and, you know, borrow money or ask for money. Did they initially take note that you perhaps had a drug problem, or did they already know because they were witnessing things, or did they question you about it, or at what point did it, you know, really come to surface with your family that you actually had a drug addiction?
Well, I was living in Columbia, and my parents, they lived in Charleston. So the majority of my family, they were in Charleston, so they didn't see me on a regular basis. You know, that they only heard me on the phone, and what I can tell them on that, but I didn't go down there because I know they would know the difference. So I basically just called them, made up some type of excuse of why I didn't have the money, and asked them to borrow the money. So they really didn't see me, but once I told them that I resigned and I had to come back to Charleston because I had lost everything, you know, they sent me to treatment up there in Charleston.
So when you sought treatment in Charleston, how was it different from when you got treatment after you were given pretty much a choice, you know, through your job to get treatment, and you said that, you know, after you returned from that, you pretty much wanted to get high again. So what was the difference between the two types of treatment that you received?
Okay, well, the treatment that I received, well, I was in the military, so I went to a VA hospital, and I was in treatment. So I was inside the facility, you know, so I was away from the drugs and all that, so I was able to get my life back together for that time. So I stayed in there for like probably a couple of months. They gave me a job working at the VA hospital in Charleston, and it worked out pretty good until I met another young lady, and she happened to be getting high too. So it kind of like, I guess you kind of like get attracted. There's something about when you're in addiction, you're someone that does that, you kind of like can feel it.
That attraction.
Correct. You know,
To that similarity.
correct. You know, it's like all these normal young ladies, but for some reason I'm attracted to someone, and I didn't even know she was getting high. But you know, found out she was getting high, and that started the whole process over again.
So, at what point did you eventually hit complete rock bottom to the point where you really wanted to make a change in your life to have victory?